This is Alaska.
Every year, many people come here, but after one winter, they are nowhere to be found.
This is Islam in the land of extremes, a story of struggle and strength, of isolation and unity, of snow and sujood. The Muslims of Alaska, one of the least known Muslim communities in the United States of America, they have been surviving in the most harshest regions of the world for more than 60 years now. Fajr at 9 a.m. and making wudu with snow is normal here.
If you like to stay at home, Alaska is not for you.
You'd be surprised to know that the first Muslim that came to the state of Alaska was none other than a Palestinian. His name is Musa Ubaidi, and he came to Alaska in the 1960s, and he just turned 100 years old, and he celebrated his birthday with his family in Anchorage, Alaska.
The one person we know is actually from Palestine, from the Middle East. He came here in the 60s.
Yeah, I love people. Everybody care for me here in Alaska.
I had so many questions when I arrived in this unbelievable part of America. Do they have a masjid? Do they have halal food? How do they even pray Maghrib and Isha when the sun is still shining? Living in Alaska as a Muslim is not easy. The harshest and cold weather brings uncertainty and unusual ways of living that we in mainland America are not used to. Although Muslims are spread out in all parts of Alaska, the majority of them are concentrated in the biggest city of the last frontier, called Anchorage. From as few as 1,500 to possibly 3,000, they make up one of the most remote Muslim communities in the world, and yet they're as strong and resilient as the glaciers that surround them.
Sunrise in December, probably around 8:30, maybe even 9. It will be dark the whole winter or day the whole summer.
The lifestyle of Muslims here is not just going to work and the masjid, but it demands hunting wild animals, hiking mountains, fishing in the most dangerous rivers of Alaska, and surviving the cold, and often surviving the depressing lack of sunlight in the winter and lack of darkness in the summer. Muslim men here are into extreme outdoor activities. They hunt moose and deer, they ski in the highest of mountains, and hike the mighty of glaciers. These Muslims aren't just surviving, they're living boldly. Islam isn't confined to cities or deserts. It flourishes even in the coldest, most unlikely corners of the world. They catch the best salmon fish in the world from extremely fast-flowing rivers. The Muslim women cut it and freeze it so they can eat it for the entire year. Imagine, you don't even have to buy fish from the store. You can catch it yourself and even feed your family for the entire year. This is more than just survival. This is barakah in nature, in unity, in sustenance.
And it was the best biryani I ever had. Real fish.
From the Copper River. It's one of the dangerous river in Alaska. Yeah, very dangerous. Current is so fast that if you fell in the river, the fish will eat you instead. And it does take a life or two every year as well. So it is a very dangerous river, but it has one of the best salmon in the world.
And what about halal meat? It's surprisingly available in Alaska. Chicken, beef, goat, you get it all from Costco.
This is from Australia. So halal, Australia.
Crescent Foods, among other brands, and also all the way from New Zealand. I was truly shocked. They also have Muslim shops, including one owned by a Somali brother, where they have all products that you can expect from a halal store. And right next to it is the first halal shawarma restaurant, My Shawarma House, owned by the same Somali brother. There is also a Desi restaurant called Taste of India, owned by a Bangladeshi Muslim brother, where they serve all types of dishes such as chicken tikka masala, butter chicken, among others.
How was the food?
Brother, the best in the state of, best in America most likely.
Everything is gone. It's all gone.
Licking our fingers is so good, mashallah.
Abdul does fantastic job. Awesome food.
Where are you from?
Bangladesh.
Mashallah. Bangladesh.
100% halal.
After 6,000 miles of riding across North America and Canada, I found that they do have a masjid in Anchorage, and it's the biggest and the first masjid in Alaska built from the ground up. It's massive and it can accommodate hundreds of people, and it was funded by American Muslims from all across the 50 states. I reached the masjid half an hour just before the khutbah was about to begin, and guess who was giving the khutbah? Brother Sam Ubaidi, the son of Musa Ubaidi. Yes, the same 100-year-old first Muslim of Alaska. MashaAllah. But how do they pray Fajr, Maghrib and Isha while the sun is still shining outside? They have a fatwa from a scholar that allows them to follow Makkah's prayer times.
We have a scholar who actually came and spent the summer with us and told us that we can follow either the nearest place with a regular day and night, or we can follow Mecca. We decided to follow Mecca.
Some members of the community do not agree with this and continue to pray according to the local time of Alaska, and sometimes they combine Maghrib and Isha together. This is Raja Street, an unofficial street where most members of the Raja dynasty live on the same street or nearby.
44, 45 people.
So anybody with the last name Raja belongs to our family in Alaska.
Raja, of course, means prince in Urdu. So we have a
Back in days it was prince, but right now, yeah, it's just a prince biscuit.
Brothers, cousins, grandparents, children, all under the same sky, and often the same roof. Sisters have their own Ikna circle where they meet weekly and discuss Islam and how to raise children in an Islamic and prophetic tradition. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this was just Anchorage. There are Muslims living in Fairbanks too, which is hundreds of miles to the north of Anchorage and right in the heart of this massive state. They had converted an old chapel into a prayer hall. The Muslim community of Fairbanks is actively seeking land to build the first masjid in that city too. So if you can, donate generously to this part of our ummah. And even beyond the architect circle, I've heard that there are Muslims even in the last city of Alaska, Utqiagvik, formerly called Barrow. There is an Islamic center referred to as the Barrow Islamic Center. However, it's not a formal masjid building. Instead, it's described as an apartment used by a small community of 5 people for prayer, for salah. Although very small in number, they are glorifying the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even at the end of the world. Beyond that, it's only the Arctic Ocean.
Brother, have you faced any issues as a Muslim? Mashallah, you have a beard and you're clearly a Muslim.
Alaska is an amazing place. Being a guy with a beard, this is a tradition in Alaska. Almost every male here, everyone has a beard here.
It's an Alaska thing.
Where I work right now, like 80 to 90% people have the beard.
But as for our women, mashallah, you know, they're out there with the niqab, with their burqa and everything.
Yes.
We never had any issue.
And what about the dangerous grizzly bears, which I've heard are one of the most dangerous in the world? Aren't they scared of them?
Well, I got my beard and I got my gun too, brother. So nobody's messing with me. In Alaska, it's open carry. We got rights here, brother. So mashallah, every one of us carry weapon here.
True Muslim and a true American.
They are part of every thread in the Alaskan fabric. Muslims are working in all fields, from doctors to restaurants to businesses to fishing to construction to transportation to university faculty. Which reminds me, Muslim students have also established Muslim Students Associations, or MSAs. In Alaska, Muslims have built communities, praying 5 times a day, celebrating Eid under the midnight sun. During Eid, you can expect at least 1,000 Muslims to gather in the masjid.
So during Eid, this is whole filled up.
This whole place is filled.
Fasting in days that stretch up to 20 hours. Their faith is tested by the brutal cold winter of Alaska, but strengthened by conviction.
Because of the harsh weather, everyone look after one another. Majority of the state don't, when you're traveling, there's no phone signal. So everybody kind of in a survival mode looking after each other. So it is a very friendly state.
I also found out that since 1982, every year the state of Alaska pays every resident something called the Alaska Permanent Fund Dividend from the state's Oil Wealth Fund. The fund was created to manage oil reserves and ensure a portion is distributed to residents. Every year it varies between $1,000 to $3,000. So the more family members you have, the more money you get, which helps with the expensive life in Alaska. The community is notably diverse, encompassing various ethnicities and backgrounds, including Alaskan natives, believe it or not, American-born Muslims, and immigrants from numerous countries across Europe, Asia, and Africa.
I went to Alaska alone, but I wish I had you with me. So many of you have shared the desire to connect with nature and your deen. That's why I'm excited to launch the BUKHAREE retreats, and our first trip is this Labor Day weekend, where I'll be taking 20 brothers all across North America to the breathtaking mountains of Colorado. Inshallah, whether you're on the motorcycle or in the car, the focus is brotherhood, bonding, and barakah. Spots are limited, so book right now. See you in Colorado, inshallah. Now, back to the video.
It was an honor to visit my ummah all the way up in the last frontier. They are the kindest of Muslims I have ever met in my journey across North America. They took very good care of me, and if you visit them, please give them my salam. They are always in my du'as. In the farthest corners of the world, where most people think they are alone, Allah is still near, and so are His people. This is Islam in Alaska. Wherever you go, Allah is there.